What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Lots of news to discuss, not just in the Carmelo Anthony saga, but some crazy Tesla hating district attorney last night, and a whole bunch of other stories. Obviously, we've been covering the Carmelo Anthony situation pretty in depth. There's been a development now where he is currently in hiding, except it appears for no reason at all, as the family has issued a bunch of wild claims of people, threatening them and they need to move to safety, except the local PD says no such instances have even been reported, which of course doesn't surprise me at all. Here we have this from Defiant Owls. Carmelo Anthony has been moved to an undisclosed location because of, quote, threats against him and his family. Despite the claims of, quote, threats, the Frisco Police Department says they've received zero reports of a single threat against Carmelo. Let's remember the video.
My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her.
Again, I would be afraid too if I had a knife-wielding maniac sleeping on the other side of the wall.
And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false.
Now, it's interesting she says that, because in this very same press conference, she goes on to say, well, we haven't gotten the money yet. We just finally got access to the money. And look what they did immediately. They got a new place within about 36 minutes of getting their funding, because they had said they requested the funding in this interview. So by now they would have received it.
These are the type of lies that are threatening this family.
This idiot goes on to talk about how Sarah Fields reporting on, their mortgage, or people posting pictures, people posting pictures of the family that they had already posted publicly online. It's a whole lot of nonsense, essentially. What they're really trying to do is fashion this victimhood narrative, this idea that Austin was some sort of bully, and you can see the kind of the little pieces of that coming together in all this. And it's not exactly, I'm not buying it. Obviously, here you have Carmelo, a teen accused of doing something not at all surprising, has now been moved to an undisclosed location after reported threats on his life. Now, when they say reported, they mean fabricated or provided without evidence, because there is no evidence, at least from the local PD at this point, that any of these quote-unquote threats even existed. Carmelo Anthony has the Texas teen accused of, well, we all know what he did, has been moved to an undisclosed location to, quote, ensure his safety after reportedly receiving threats while under house arrest. The 17-year-old suspect's family said they were gravely concerned after being hit with an alarming increase in threats and harassment over the weekend. Now, again, I'm not saying that didn't happen. It's entirely possible that it did happen. All I would ask for in these type of scenarios is just a crumb of evidence, just a crumb. Share some of the stuff you got. I know people online can be crazy. I know people can, it's not like nobody's ever had, said something insane online. The swatting stuff we know is true. Now we know that happened to the victim's dad and not them, but I know people do crazy things online. Representatives for his family Representatives for his family said people have been loitering outside the family's home and mailing the Metcalf obituary and making false food deliveries. I do think it's pretty funny to mail Anthony Metcalf's food delivery there. I think that's fitting. I mean, not his food delivery, his obituary. Um, Look, your kid took some other kid's life. Some level of responsibility once in a while would be nice. I guess that's probably too much to ask. That said, the food deliveries, these are. I don't think any of these are cause to be concerned for your life. But they have essentially been doxxed, and I don't really care that they were. I don't condone people sending stuff to the house. I don't condone people loitering around the house. I assume those are reporters, since we know that they are in a gated community. Anthony has been holed up in a property in a gated community in Frisco ever since April 2nd. So I don't really know how people are loitering in front of his house in a gated community. That seems odd. That seems very odd to me, but I guess possibly, maybe. Again, in the meantime, now they're taking drastic steps to ensure his safety. Except this is what they've always said they were going to do. They said in their very own fundraiser, again, which they raised from $500,000 once they hit the $500,000, they've now increased it to $506,000 because grift. They've spent $0 as far as I know. We now know that some activist bounty hunter or bail bondsman paid his bail. The Next Generation Action Network is paying for stuff while they grift as well. So I'm not sure the Karmelo Anthony family has paid anything at this point. They put this update out yesterday. No, I don't want to follow your stupid updates. We are grateful for your support. This incredibly difficult time for Anthony and his family. This fundraiser has been what? How do I see? How come I can't see the rest of the update? Do I have to pay them money for it? Apparently, I have to pay them money to see their update, which was, that's a week ago anyway. They did change this to say that the money is for, quote unquote, nebulous expenses. Look, if people gave them their money, that's their own stupid fault. Again, I just don't buy that people are doing insane things at a level where they need to buy another house or move. We are sharing images and documentation of these threats the family has faced the past weekend to make public aware of the dangerous atmosphere that's been created, an atmosphere fueled by the organized hate, systemic racism, intentional misinformation. The Next Generation's grift, Timu Al Sharpton network said. It's both heartbreaking and infuriating to see the depths of hate and bigotry still alive in our society, Alexander claimed. Despite the claims of threats, though, the Frisco Police Department says they have received no reports. Our department does not have any reported cases involving the Anthony family being threatened, they told Fox News Digital. I mean, again, it's so weird. Do I think that maybe some idiot sent something stupid? Yeah, I buy that. Do I think that they're genuinely fearing for their lives? No, I don't. Frisco police are also investigating after families of Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf harassed with swatting calls. So apparently, both sides are getting it. The families of Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony are facing unrelenting harassment that's putting their safety, and the safety of others and their neighbors at risk. Twice since the 17-year-old student, Austin Metcalf, had passed away. I'm sorry, I lost my spot there. Frisco police officers have been sent to his mother's and his father's home because of the prank phone calls. Now, that's the victim. He would not go on camera, but Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, told CBS News that he's worried someone's get hurt by what's happening in his neighborhood. A fair thing to be worried about. Images and videos show what happened outside Jeff Metcalf's home. SWAT officers with weapons drawn responded to a 911 call that no one inside had made. It's the most recent of several what has been called, swatting, this, that, and the other thing. Now, again, on Thursday, the mother of Karmelo Anthony, the Frisco student charged in this crime, revealed that her husband had to take leave from his job because of harassment targeting his employer. Again, no evidence provided of that. At least we know the swatting happened. Following the swatting incidents, Frisco PD sent CBS News Texas a statement. As with any incident like this, our investigators will be looking into it. So we don't really know. It doesn't appear that Karmelo was swatted, but it seems like Jeff Metcalf continues to deal with this type of thing. I don't really know. Again, generally the people that do this are kind of like anarchists, people that don't necessarily have, a strong political opinion about anything like that. But they really are ratcheting up this. He was a poor boy who didn't do nothing wrong. Now they're fake moving him because they're fake scared that something's going to happen to him. I mean, I don't really buy that. Now you see this, of course, NGAN shared images of the alleged harassment, including strangers approaching their home and sending them copies of Metcalf's obituary. Well, where are these? I'm genuinely curious. Oh, here we go. We do have images. Okay. We will not be silent. No one should have to live under this siege simply because they are demanding their constitutional rights. Well, they're not living under siege because he's demanding his constitutional rights, and Timu Al Sharpton knows that. We will not be silent. We won't back down. We are committed to doing whatever is necessary. So one person mailed him a Austin Metcalf obituary. So that's the only thing they said? That's the only thing they shared? It sure looks like it's the only thing. It's the only thing they shared. What is this? Let's see if I can find let's go back here. Let's see if we can find the NGAN here. I want to see if they shared anything more concrete online. Because here's Minister Dominique Alexander. Let's see, 18 hours ago, he's, going after reporters. Normally I don't waste time responding to outlandish stupidity on social media, but a recent post by Sarah Fields has crossed the lines, and it demands a response. In her distasteful and misleading post, Sarah Fields accused me of having an inappropriate relationship with former Dallas police chief of Renee Hall. Renee Hall. Let me be very clear. This accusation is not only disrespectful to me, it's outright offensive to the police chief, a highly accomplished law enforcement professional who has moved forward in her career and continues to make an impact. Well, I'm not really sure what Sarah said, but I tend to believe her. She has been wrong in the past, though. You can see many people have asked to see my exclusive about Dominique Alexander. I'm going to temporarily pin it at the top of my profile. These are all of his various crimes and mug shots. That's up to, that's irrefutable. This says Karmelo Anthony's newly hired lawyer, Kim T. Cole, is general counsel for NGAN. NGAN is a BLM supporting F501c3 that, based on a full investigation, has brought in six figures. It has filed only 2 IRS reports since its inception back in 2014. According to federal law, they are required to file annual reports. So it looks like you're going to have some tax problems, NGAN. In terms of his whatever relationships are, these presser videos that he did, they've collected funds in the sum of 6 figures, but they're participating in what's known as 501c3 bouncing. When they don't file with the IRS, they filed twice with this particular foundation, and now they're using now. Status revokes, a new one gets started. It's pretty clear that this guy is a scumbag. This man decided to dox my church, placing my entire family at risk. It's very weird. This whole thing, the minister, didn't your father teach you not to hit your children in front of women? Yikes. You know, it says must be nice to have luxury like this. It's because one person mailed one thing. That's the only evidence we have. So as of right now, I'm going to call this a lie. You know, I don't buy it. I don't buy it whatsoever that they're receiving any kind of craziness that they're going to have to deal with. I'm going to stay on this story, of course. So if you want to stay up to date, make sure you click that subscribe or follow button down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.